Hi, Shalom Aleichem. My name is Mordechai Greenfield, and first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. One of the many things that I learned from my wife of almost 40 years, Liba Arnina, is that she despises it when someone begins to speak at her, and she has no idea who that person is or anything about that person. So, who I am and what I am and how I came to be speaking here to you tonight or today or whatever it is, whatever time zone it is that you're listening to this in, it's all tied up, I guess, with a thank you to my daughter, Yudhishava Bauman, who lives in Oceanside, New York, and she asked me to speak on tonight's topic, which I understand is internalizing your strengths, which we'll get to on the by and by, as we say. So my name is Mordechai Greenfield, and we live here in Eretz Yisrael in a place called Menachemia, a few kilometers from the Kinneret. For almost 40 years, 35 years and more, we lived in the Jerusalem area. We lived in Telstone, we lived in Jerusalem itself, we lived in and around Jerusalem. And about a year and a half ago, we, as they say in poker, did an all-in, and we bought and moved to a rural piece of land, including farming and including some tourist rooms that we rent out. You can edit that out if you want. And we have 8 children, and we have 12 grandchildren. Done many things over the years. Some of them have been doing chinuch-related things in Yerushalayim in the area. One of the things that I miss out here is the ability to do this kind of thing. So let's get to it. The idea is, the topic of the discussion is internalizing your strengths. Included in that statement, really axiomatically, is, first of all, know thyself. What are your strengths? Who are you? We have a day called Yom Kippur when we're supposed to sit and be introspective about ourselves and what we've done over the year, but really it's putting an awful burden on 25 hours of time, and the lesson that we're supposed to come away from is introspection on a much more regular kind of a basis, because to go around to all of our friends in whatever institution we happen to be and ask forgiveness for things that we really don't remember what we may have done or might not have done, I don't think it really does the job of chipping away at our internal character traits, what we call our midos, in any kind of a meaningful way. And it really is supposed to teach us that, I'm not saying to be OCD about it, but to think before we speak, to think before we act, is a lesson we need to come away from Yom Kippur. And part of that lesson is our midos, is who are you? What is it that you are? What is it that you're supposed to be doing? One of the epiphanies, I guess, I've had over the past year and a half here in Menachemia is that we are taught that there is a chelek elokom imal, a piece of God in each and every one of us. And for many years, and for reasons, I guess, of education that I received, I always look for that part of God in myself in the more perfected parts. When I perfect something, then we consider that godlike. But really, if one thinks about it very deeply, God can do anything. God is everything and can do anything. The only thing that God cannot do, so to speak, is to be limited in any way. And I believe that therefore he created a tremendously brilliant system, which we call the physical universe, and all of the levels that bring it into existence in order to struggle. And in each and every one of us, there is a part of God, and it's that part which struggles, because that's really the only thing we can, quote unquote, sort of give to God, is the ability to struggle in his place as him in our form in this physical universe. I hope that's clear enough. We had some friends over here in the Zimmers this past couple of days, and I call them the Rabbi and the Rebbitzin, not because any of them are really my particular Rabbi or Rebbitzin, but just the relationship that I've had with them over the years has been that kind of relationship. And when I referred to the Rabbi, so his wife messaged back to me and said, the man that you call, quote unquote, the Rabbi is doing such and such a thing. And it kind of rattled in my brain. And I realized that my definition is a very low definition view of this man that I've had a relationship with for many, many years, and his wife that I call the Rebbitzin. And really, we go through the world, and we really would not be able to go through the world unless we maintained a continuous low definition view of the things and the people and the places around us. And we have to generalize, we can't stop and evaluate every situation and every person. We have a running file on the back of our heads that tell us in a split second that this is a snake, get out of the way. This is a person that you don't want to be on the same side of the street as. And we might be very wrong, and it's just a generalization, but it's the way we keep alive, it's the way we stay alive, it's the way we can function in the world. So my question is do we at least have that type of a definition of ourselves? Do I at least know myself in a way that, if you want to be very shallow, how do I appear to others? I think maybe that in our generation we do have a very heightened quality of how we appear to others. But do we really internalize that and put ourselves in the place of another, looking at ourselves and saying, that's who we are? And do we have a definition that goes any deeper than that? And really, we cannot know ourselves. We cannot come to a point of internalizing our strengths unless we know what those strengths are. A baby is born without teeth. I don't remember exactly who I learned it from a number of sources, but a child is born without teeth because a child cannot be held responsible, because a child does not know who they are, what they're capable of, what they're not capable of. When do we begin to hold the child responsible? When they grow teeth. When they start to bite, they need to learn not to bite. Is the solution to pull out their teeth? No, that's not a solution, because then the first person who comes along who refused to have their teeth pulled out is going to bite everybody. I heard from a very wise man, his name is Jordan Peterson. He's a psychologist in a Canadian university. And he gives a lot of explanation about internalizing what he calls the shadow. It's a psychological term. And it's understanding the ability to be harmed on one hand. We are vulnerable. When Adam Arishon and Chava eat from the Eitz Hadas, their eyes are opened. The Netziv says that they then become self-aware. They become aware of a personal cheshbon in anything that happens in the world, as opposed to just an absolute cheshbon of what is good and what is evil, what is good for God and what God does not want, which is absolute good and absolute evil. That they lost.